ego and the place of ego in our lives. Ego, you see, we usually hear ego as, oh my gosh, that person is so egotistical. I can't stand them. They're a narcissist. They're this, they're that. And we automatically label ego as something negative. And we put it in this box, as always, right? We put it in a box as like, ooh, gross, get the ego out of the way. Ego is also super powerful, and it allows us to step into the unknown, into the uncomfortable, so that we can do really powerfully awesome things. Welcome back to an awesome Monday Mindset episode. I am grateful. I am always grateful that you are here joining me. And I'm super grateful for those of you that reach out and let me know how this content is serving you and impacting your life. And some of you even challenge me in my thinking to carry it further. And I just love that. It's sparring in a really productive way, and it's helpful for everybody involved. Just a reminder, if there's ever anything that you would like me to talk about or cover on a mindset episode, please shoot me an email. You can shoot an email to askmehowiknowpodcast@gmail.com, because Gmail is just easy for everything. But just drop me an email and let me know, Julie, hey, I'm really wrestling with this idea. Can you give me some suggestions? I'd love to do that. Be over the moon. If you have not already hit that subscribe button, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of Ask Me How I Know Multifamily and Mindset. Now, how about let's dive into some delicious mindset material. Have you ever felt an ounce of success? Like on the smallest, like most granular level, have you felt a little smidge of success? Maybe you were at the gym and you were able to, just do one more rep, and that was success for you. Or maybe you were able to, like I don't know why I had this Oreo craving. I don't even like Oreos. I wanted Oreos. And last night I verbalized that to my family. We'd just gotten home from being, in town, and my son's like, Dad, go get mom some Oreos. I know that there was an ulterior motive there. And I said, no, it's okay. I just know I have no willpower right now. If I had Oreos, I would just eat them all. So it was like a complete win for me to not have the Oreos in front of my face, right? I mean, our wins can come in all shapes and sizes. Have you ever experienced that? Right now, I just want you to think of like the smallest win that you had. Maybe you didn't, flip your lid when somebody irked you. Maybe you showed kindness when someone really needed a tender heart nearby or something like that. There's so many ways that we can win on these super small levels. Even just cleaning up the kitchen when you're done with your meal. That's a win right there. All of these things, all this concept of winning leads into a really interesting conversation about ego and the place of ego in our lives. Ego, you see, we usually hear ego as, oh my gosh, that person is so egotistical. I can't stand them. They're a narcissist. They're this, they're that. And we automatically label ego as something negative. And we put it in this box, as always, right? We put it in a box as like, ooh, gross, get the ego out of the way, And sometimes you hear, oh wow, that person's head is so big now they can't even fit through the door because their ego. And I want us to be really aware. Ego is also super powerful, and it allows us to step into the unknown, into the uncomfortable, so that we can do really powerfully awesome things. So the flip side, since I think that we're all aware of all the negative sides of ego, let's talk about the positive sides of ego. And ego is a level of self-confidence, and it says, even if I don't do this perfectly, even if it doesn't turn out as I am planning and expecting and hoping it will, I will be okay. There's this sure footedness, this deeper level of confidence that allows somebody to step out into this discomfort and to step onto new paths. And that forges new arenas in life, right? Innovation on all levels in any part of life. But what do you do when you get that ounce of success? It is crazy how fast your ego can flare up on the negative side of things, right? I'm going to throw myself under the bus completely right now and say that I've had a lot of really, some really cool opportunities presented to me over the last few months. Opportunities to be on other really awesome podcasts, opportunities to moderate amazing events, opportunities to speak to groups of people. I've had these really, really neat opportunities just coming my way, landing on my lap. And I noticed that something was starting to happen within me. And I've always tried to be a really grounded person, like just be true to who you are, be genuine, be sincere, be you. It's the same message I tell you, it's the message I tell myself, same message that I tell you, right? But when you start having these things, it's natural for an entrepreneur to say, let me reverse engineer this and see what am I doing well so that I can have more of this. This is really great. And this is a really important process. It's always important to understand what is leading us and is working out well. We do the same thing. If something's not working out well, we always reverse engineer and say, okay, where do we need to troubleshoot? Okay. So as I was doing this, I started to realize that I was kind of like, I consider myself an absolute nobody. And yet it's interesting that the most nobody of people can just with a little drop of success, like just pretend that you have a little eyedropper and a vial of success. And it's just super potent. And you just drop like a little minuscule drop of of success onto somebody's ego. And poof, it just flares up. Now, I'm not saying that I turned into a jerk or anything like that. And I'm not being egotistical saying that I didn't turn into a jerk or anything like that. I'm just saying I became very quickly aware of like, I want to make sure that my posture remains true to who I am. I want to make sure that I stay the same developing version of who I am, right? You don't want to morph into somebody else because you think that that's what people are gravitating to. You see, people are usually gravitating towards who or what you are and what you have to, I guess you're not a what you are, right? They're gravitating towards who you are, and they're gravitating towards what you represent, what products you have, those type of things. So when we have that little vial of success come our way and somebody's ready to drop it down for us, right? Onto our ego, because it's going to get on our ego, we have to be like super aware. And this is where humility and ego must be absolutely unified, like the tightest BFFs on the freaking planet. Okay. So if your ego has that drop of success onto it, but you have humility and you have gratitude, I'm going to throw that in there also, then your ego isn't going to flare up so much. You remember who you are. You remember the equality of all people. You remember that maybe this is a great contribution that you have to offer at this moment in time, but you remember that other humans are going to have amazing things to offer at other times. You can kind of think of it like, think of humanity like a choir. Okay. And if you just visualize a huge choir and they're on those tiered platform things, right? And then every once in a while, you'll have part of the choir that sings and they're the highlight. And sometimes you have a soloist come up and they're the highlight. But then they return back and they resume being in this choir as one unified voice. You see, what if we looked at humanity like that? Everyone's going to have their opportunity and their turn to step up. It might be stepping up and shining as an individual and saying, wow, here's this I have to offer to you, and I hope it serves you well. And it's this beautiful song, right? And sometimes we're a small group of us that say, wow, look what we have to offer you. We hope this serves you well. But then we return back. If we can maintain our roots, if we can remember that we're a small voice that's part of a larger collective voice, then we can continue to walk that same exciting, adventurous path that we were already on. Now, on the flip side, some people want to grab the mic and they simply want to have the mic, and somebody's going to have to go and pry that mic from their fingers in order for them to return back up. And that's not who you want to be. That's not who I want to be. And I've been reflecting on this. I don't want anyone to have to come and slap me down and say, okay, sweetheart, we've heard enough of you. Okay, just can you get back to the choir now? Because the choir needs you. Please note that. The choir needs you. The collective whole of humanity needs you to be part of collective whole of humanity, not Lone Ranger. I've got this and I have the microphone and I'm in control and power. Everybody love me. So maintaining this level is paramount to having and perpetuating a level of optimum success, if you will. That kind of came out awkward, right? Because I think I was blending two different things. So you want to be optimal so that you're consistently performing and giving and producing consistent results. Doesn't mean you have to be on top of the mountain. It just means that consistently, this is what you're going to get, and it's going to be super high caliber consistently. That consistent person is who you want to be. That type of person who is grounded in their humility, in their gratitude for the opportunity to say, wow, people notice me, that's going to perpetuate itself in a really beautiful way. Recently, I rekindled my relationship with Instagram, and it has been surprisingly super fun. What a great platform to be on. I invite you, if you'd like to connect up, I'm at Happy Julie Holly. You can also go to the Ask Me How I Know page and follow that page as well. But what I noticed was Instagram to me used to be a place where I would put a lot of my writing pieces, which was a different handle that I have at Peacequility, if you're ever interested. And in doing this, I've been inviting people into a different part of my life, and that is my morning routine. If you are following this podcast, you know that I'm just rooted in my morning routine. I'm also rooted in Brendon Burchard's high performance planner, and I use that daily and I love it. And it goes through that series of questions to launch your day, and then in the evening, there's another series of questions. They're short, it doesn't take long, and it's easy if you wanted to. You could just gloss over those questions and put 1 or 2 word answers if you wanted. But I use this time as a point of reflection in my life. Each morning it asks, it says, today's message to myself is, and over on Instagram, I decided I'm going to start posting these messages that I've been telling myself. I'm going to share these messages with the world. And the message I shared recently said, success should sweeten you, never too busy to show love or receive love. You see, this falls in line with this concept of success and ego. It's when you reach that success, however you define that, when you reach that success should bring sweetness into your life. It should ground you even deeper in the roots of humility. So that's your posture to the world. And then it just keeps this really beautiful circle flowing back, right? So that it just attracts more people to you because you're like, oh, wow, the ego didn't flare up. It's not huge. Wow, this person's so sweet and they have so much to offer. And look at this love they're pouring out. And also look at the love they can receive. Receiving is so difficult for most of us. And it's a challenge. So all that to say is that I want to remind us that success is a really good thing in our lives, but we must remain grounded in our humility, and we must remain grounded in gratitude in order to not let our egos get the best of us. That's what I have for you today. I hope that it serves you well. I hope that you see yourself as successful. If you are like most people, you are looking at yourself probably through a really foggy lens that's very clouded. We've spoken about this on other mindset episodes. And I hope that you clear that off. Start small. Look for the smallest victories in your day. Wow, I showed up to work on time, or wow, maybe I got there 5 minutes early. wow, I didn't, get frustrated when I went to the coffee stand and there was a line and I had to wait. Wow, right. Look for just the smallest wins if this is something you struggle with and snowball those. You're not a jerk and you're not an egomaniac by celebrating your successes. Okay. Now, if your ego flares up, different story. But I have a feeling that you're an awesome person and that that's not the case and not going to happen. All right. Count those successes, stay rooted in humility and gratitude, and have an amazing week. Until next time, go and find your freedom.
Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Ask Me How I Know. This episode was brought to you by Three Keys Investments. They are dedicated to helping people like you, you, my awesome listeners, develop passive income and legacy wealth through multifamily investing. Feel free to check out their website, threekeysinvestments.com, to see if there's an offering that will help your portfolio grow and meet all of your needs. If you haven't already rated, reviewed, subscribed, liked, all of those bells and whistles, I would be absolutely honored if you would do that for Ask Me How I Know. Thanks again, and go make it a great day.